Hello everyone and welcome to Space Dog Jury Alien Covenant Minisode. I'm Lee.
I really don't want to be here.
Yes you do. You do.
No. So I'm Andy Vogt.
Yeah, there you go.
And Pete is Sir not appearing in his podcast.
He's in the air ducts.
Yes, he is.
He's in the air ducts with Captain Dallas.
And a flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly. This is before we go to see the film. We're seeing the film in approximately 20 minutes.
Yes.
We're in London, the Imperial, or the Winchester as we call it.
Yes.
And just before we get going, I suppose we want to just do some preamble to work out what we think we're going to get.
So are you looking forward to it, Lee?
I don't know anymore.
It's true, because we have actually discovered we've entered a parallel universe.
Yes. We're recording this after recording an episode that will come after this, telling us that we don't know what we're doing. We thought we'd like it, but we don't know if we would like it.
Well, it's just we come off the back of so let me just see if I've got this right. We did Star Trek Beyond, in which Peter liked it.
Yes.
We did
Guardians of the
Galaxy, in which you didn't.
I never said
you didn't love it.
Didn't love it. There you go.
And then Mass Effect Andromeda, in which you were
still burns.
Somewhat lukewarm.
Still burns.
You didn't see a doctor about that.
It really just the pain.
So obviously, up is down, left is right,
in is out,
black is white,
cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. Yeah. So I really don't know what I'm expecting.
Which Ridley Scott are we going to get? Are we going to get the Martian Ridley Scott? Are we going to get Prometheus Ridley Scott?
Rodley Scott.
Rodley Scott, yes.
That's it.
Yeah, yes, the one who did Prometheus was Rodley Scott. It wasn't
Rodley Scott, yeah. Rodney Scott.
Rodney Scott, yes.
Rodney Scott and his little freewheeler.
So is it Rodney Scott or is it Ridley Scott?
Well, I don't know. I mean, do you want answers from Prometheus, or do you want it just to be abandoned entirely?
Well, I watched a little prelude video which had Naomi, what's her name? And, Michael Fassbender doing
Noomi
Peter
Rapace.
O'Toole. Yeah, Noomi Rapace. And Peter O'Toole doing his best Michael Fassbender impression. Which was interesting. It's just a little 2-minute video. And I'm watching this 2-minute video, and I'd really like 30 minutes of this, just kind of tying up a few of these loose ends, explaining what happened. That'd be nice. Clear up the mess of the clusterfuck that was Prometheus.
Yeah.
But I suppose what I would like from this film more than anything else is it made sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. Today there was an interview with Scott that went out on one of the websites, and he was saying how he misjudged Prometheus because the fans wanted more Alien.
No. The problem with Prometheus, I can sum up in 2 words.
Yeah.
Damon Lindelof.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the problem. That's my worry, is that he's taken away the wrong lesson from Prometheus.
Yeah. Because Lindelof's not written this one, has he?
No, John Logan, who did Gladiator and, whisper it, Star Trek Nemesis. But
which is rapidly becoming Peter's favourite Star Trek film, I hear. And since he's not here, the FEMAT claim, we'll just say that's
absolutely. He's saying it's better than Star Trek 5.
Better than Star Trek 2. Well, yeah, it's better than 5.
Yeah, let's not push it.
It legitimately is better than Star Trek 5, but in his mind it.
Yeah. But so my problem is that at the moment I don't know what we're going to get. I've heard a lot of things saying that it does try and tie up Prometheus elements, and that's cool if it does, because then you might reappraise Prometheus in terms of its story rather than the characters. But also I've heard that it does suddenly just do a left turn and turn into Alien.
Yes, it's just the Force Awakens of Alien.
Yeah, and my problem right now is that while I'm really happy to see another Alien movie, especially one directed by Scott, I'm also thinking that he's taking the wrong lessons away from Prometheus's drubbing and may just do a lot of hand waviness to get Prometheus out of the way as quick as possible.
In fact, maybe that prelude was all we're going to get on it.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's it. We're done. We're out.
So, yeah, I don't know. So I don't really know what to expect anymore. And I
expect it will look visually beautiful because even at his worst, Scott still does a good visual.
Oh, yeah, even in that terrible film with Robert Redford in a boat. Oh, no, Lloyd Bridges. No, Jeff Bridges. The White Squall. That bloody horrible thing with
I was going to point to Exodus Gods of Men as a terrible film, but still looked pretty.
Yeah, well, I was going to say White Squall's a pretty bloody awful film.
Damn you, Rodney Scott.
Yeah, it's Rodney Scott. Yeah, Rodney Scott turns up again. So yeah, we'll have to see how it comes out. But I at the moment, I'm not going in with any preconceptions of it being bloody awful. I'm just because I just hope that what we get is at least entertaining.
Well, as listeners to Space Doc will know, we recently did our Alien retrospective. It doesn't have a particularly high bar to jump to get to be the third best Alien film. So.
No, not really. no, not at all.
So some base level of competence from the casting crew and a story which kind of makes sense, and you know what, you're good.
And the one thing I really don't want to have, because that's the one thing that Alien and Aliens did not have, and that's the one thing, is that the characters are not stupid.
Yes.
When in 3, 4, and in all the other films ever since, they go into this suicidal B-movie character thing where
let's split up. We'll cover more ground that way.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Oh, there's a creature that can kill us with a single blow. I know. Let's all go separate ways. Yeah. We'll all be fine. Yeah. So that's the one thing I don't want. If it turns into stupid people do stupid things because they're stupid, because the plot won't progress otherwise, then I'm gonna be leaping off that boat quite early. So I guess it comes down to the writing.
It literally just comes down to the script tonight. We know it's going to look great. The cast, it's James Franco and Fassbender's in it again. And basically, it's a good, solid cast.
And Danny McBride?
For the most part, it's a good, solid cast. I mean, Elton's excited about that. But still, my point is, if it's going to fall down anywhere, it's going to be the script, the story. Yeah. So it's kind of all down to that. So I think this is a good point for us to go and make our absolutions.
Okay.
And pray for Mojo.
Yeah. Before we go,
yes.
You think it's going to be a good film or not?
I'm going in with a neutral level of maybe slightly sub-level of expectations. I'm expecting Prometheus 2.0. That's what I'm expecting.
That's interesting.
Anything better than that is
a plus.
It can only get better for me.
As Brian Cox once sung.
Yes.
In D-Ream.
Yeah, I once broke my arm to that song, but that's a story for another day.
Well, there you go. There's irony for you.
Yes.
Okay, then. Well, here's more irony. We're going to go off and see Prometheus, and we've still got a smile on our face.
No, we ain't seen Prometheus. No. Let's just draw a line on that. We're going to go and watch Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
And you fine people get to listen to the trailer.
Yes. So, roll the trailer.
You've all sacrificed so much to be here and be a part of this thing we're doing. This crew is made up of couples. It's the first ever large-scale colonization mission. And everyone back on Earth is really grateful for your hard work, your courage. We're making history here.
This is weed. What are the odds of finding human vegetation this far from Earth?
Who planted it? You hear that?
What?
Nothing. No birds. No animals. Nothing. What happened here? Start our new life. Where is it?
Holy. Well, what a trailer was that, Lee. That was an amazing trailer. We loved the trailer.
That was an amazing
It
trailer.
was.
That was the best trailer ever. It's amazing what kind of screeches you can get and not actually see anything.
It was the trailiest trailer that ever trailed a trail.
It did.
Yeah.
Trail.
And so forth.
And
Chin
chin chin. Oh, beer juice everywhere.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
So in the time it took you all to listen to the trailer, we just saw the film.
Yeah, we did see the film. I'll tell you what, you go first.
Lee seems to be having an existential crisis.
I am having something of a crisis. Yeah.
Okay, so as always, non-spoilery bit at the beginning, just general thoughts.
Yeah, non-spoilers
Non-spoilers first of all. So, controversial few points. The third best Alien film, although
Okay.
admittedly that's not a particularly high bar to cross.
No.
It caught me by surprise in a few instances, and I
Yes.
thought I had this film entirely mapped out from that trailer, and it did not.
No.
So I'm doffing my cap to Ridley. It was
Ridley, not
It was
Rodney.
Ridley. I doff my cap to Ridley here. While we were all going, oh, that trailer's so spoilery and it spoils the entire film. No, it does not.
No.
It is. They did. I think the marketing campaign has done this film a massive disservice.
Yes.
I prefer this hugely over Prometheus. Again, not a high bar, but I feel if this film had come out, if Prometheus,
you need Prometheus for it to happen, though.
no,
That's the problem.
you need that. But what I reckon is, if Prometheus was a 30-minute web release prelude to this film, or there's a little bit at the beginning of this film, if that had kind of just touched on the Prometheus, the key points, to give you the basic storyline, that would have worked better.
Yeah.
I think Prometheus has 30 minutes of good story in it, and they stretched it out to 2 hours, or whatever it was. But still, I thought the cast, for the most part, was good. There is still the problem of people doing stupid shit.
Yes.
There's a lot of stupid shit,
Oh, yes.
but not as much stupid shit as there was in Prometheus.
No.
Not by a country mile. There was a lot less stupidity taking place here. Still stupidity, but just a lot less. I did feel he was throwing quite a few. It's like every other thing you see, it's like, well, that's going to come back later. That's going to be important later.
Yeah.
That's going to be important later.
Yes. Yeah.
Not all of them were, but they were kind of being set up in that way.
Lots of Blade Runner references. As
Lots
well.
of Blade Runner references, yeah. Definitely kind of pulling in the. I suppose it was on his mind when he was making this for some reason. Can't imagine what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, no, I want to say I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Do it out of 10. Out of 10 I can do.
Out of 10.
I'd give it a low 7 out of 10 I would give it.
Okay.
That's where I would peg it, yeah.
Yeah. As Andy rightly said, I'm having something of a crisis on this film.
To be fair, this is an ongoing crisis he's had for the last year or so, but...
the problem I have with it is there's two... Part of me is kind of like really intrigued by how they were developing Prometheus, what they were going to do with it,
Yes.
and where they were going to take it. And
This is very clearly not where he was planning to go after
No.
Prometheus.
however, there's enough nods and winks and stuff that I almost kind of feel like at this point it would have been better. I mean, taking your point about Prometheus as being a 30-minute thing, it would have been much better if they'd done Prometheus and not mentioned Alien at all,
Yeah.
and then did this film and just not bothered with the Alien,
It's almost like...
and then the third film, for whatever
Yeah.
it would be an Alien
I
film.
agree with that 100%. It's kind of, although they ruined it with the title, it's a bit like 10 Cloverfield Lane in the sense
Yeah.
of it's that third act reveal is when you go,
Yeah.
that would have been better served it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I agree with that 100% there.
Yeah.
The marketing campaign's really done this entire film a massive
Yeah,
disservice.
and you can tell where the reaction to Prometheus has basically skewed this film entirely, because there's a lot of the middle act which is either too soggy or
It dragged a bit. I definitely felt
Yeah.
there was a couple of instances in the whole middle thing where I was looking at my watch and going,
you know where this is going.
Yeah.
Please just get to it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of imagery and visuals, especially with Michael Fassbender's character, characters, that basically you kind of feel like that's really where Prometheus 2 would have been going.
Yeah.
Lots of discussions and ponderings and musings, but I won't go into that without the spoiler section.
Well, don't worry, we'll get to that.
The stupid crew of stupid kind of is there. The thing that annoyed me is it was the same problem with Prometheus, which is your crew's too big, so when people die you don't care. And there's a scene quite early on where I think in a 10-minute space of time you literally have like 4 crew members go under and you don't have a clue who any of them are. You literally don't.
No, but there's none of that. And again, we're not going to do any spoiling, but we will say that Sir not appearing in this film does not appear in this film.
Yes. I mean, and that's the problem. It's
I'll say this: it was a surprise.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, as is that it? Kind of goes.
Yeah, it's just like. And I've got to give the film its dues here. There was several instances where it was like, I did not see that coming.
I did not see that coming.
And again, from expectations from the marketing and reviews and what people had said, we were both sitting there waiting to go, oh, it's going to be half Prometheus and half of Alien. It's just going to be a retread and stuff like this. And yes, there's a lot. I mean, I tell you what, I pretty much think they've lifted the entire Alien soundtrack.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Jerry Goldsmith basically. Yeah, if he was still alive, he would be looking forward to his Christmas paycheck.
Absolutely,
this year,
and quite a few nods to the Prometheus soundtrack, which were quite nice. Because the soundtrack Prometheus we had no problems with.
Yeah, Mark Striebling's doing well as well. I think.
Absolutely.
In fact, what did the composer actually do?
I think he just went to Spotify and pulled up a playlist and just there you go. Check please.
Yeah, exactly.
The the Covenant as a ship. Again, it's a lot better than we've seen in the promotional images and everything. Just a lot more interesting. It's definitely when we'll probably do a Space Dock special, just dealing with that at some point. Maybe the ships of Alien.
Yes,
there's a Minisode to be had.
Yes, there's a Minisode there.
There's callbacks to the Prometheus. To
the front especially has got that kind of Prometheus look to it.
Also a hint of the Icarus from Sunshine.
Yeah, and also in landing on the planet, very much aliens.
Very much aliens. Absolutely. All that was missing was Hicks going, "It's express elevator to hell, straight down."
Yeah. How many drops is this for you? Yeah.
Oh, we almost had that with the captain, didn't we?
No, they actually said it. How many drops is this for you? It's like, oh, for God's sakes. Anyway, so the problem I have with it right now, in terms of trying to get it straight in my head how I feel about it, is there's a lot of stuff about it that I didn't like, just outright flat didn't like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's things that
there's stupid for stupid sakes, which we never like.
No.
Have you people not heard of quarantine procedures?
Yes, exactly. And there's also. I know I can get rid of this thing by either shooting it or by doing a massively grandiose set piece that basically destroys half the ship.
Well, I know which one I'm going for.
Yeah, exactly. I know what I'm going to do. And so there's lots of that sort of stuff. There's a couple of pratfalls which are worthy of a Harold Lloyd short. And there's. And again, there's moments where the characters go, "Oh, just trust me, this is fine," and you just think that's the last things you're ever going to hear.
Yes.
And the CGI alien looked shit. I don't care what anyone else says.
It comes back to the alien. What is its proper name?
Come
on, hipsters.
It's was it Arch? Oh God, it's the fuck it! It's on the tip of my tongue.
I'm going to call it the word.
The foul tongue of Archeron, but I can't remember what Archeronis. Lepitanis,
something Rapturus, isn't it?
Rapturus, Leptrapturus Archeronis. I think that's it.
So the xenomorph to the rest of
us. Yeah, go on. Let's just call it that.
As evidenced in Alien and to a lesser extent Aliens, it's best served when it's briefly glimpsed. Anytime you see it in all its glory and daylight, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't. It's either a bloke in a suit or it's a
CGI lanky.
Yeah, and in instance, there's bits when it works, it's towards the end where, again, you've got strobing lights and smoke and flashing and everything. You just get clips of it, and that's great there. But then you have moments where it's literally standing there, actually waving its arms.
Actually waves its arms. Oh. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
So I've given it a 7 out of 10. Where are you pegging it?
At the moment.
No,
I will think about it, and I am going to do a video when I get home, I think.
Yes.
Once I've had a little think about it. But at the moment, I'm kind of I'm really middle of the road. I think it's a 6. A weak 6 or a strong 5.
Okay.
I don't hate it. I don't feel like I've wasted my time watching it.
No?
I feel like
I was legitimately entertained in moments.
Yeah, there are twists which as soon as I saw things, I just thought, well, that's that then, and I'm not surprised by these twists at all. There are other twists where I thought, oh, that's interesting. Where's that come from? And so, yeah, there's a couple of twists where I just thought, oh, for God's sakes, really? And also, it has the Alien 3 problem.
There's a lot of problems in Alien 3. You're going to have to specify.
The opening, what happened? The problem of where does an extra monster come from?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Which would we'll talk
about that in the spoiler
section.
zone.
Yeah.
But essentially, you think, oh, monster is gone. We have no problems, and then suddenly next monster appears, a la Aliens. Oh, it's on the ship, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Which we know from the trailers, so it's not a spoiler.
No, that's not a spoiler.
But it's like the question suddenly raises, where the fuck did it come from? To which we don't really know, but in fact we do know. But the problem is, it makes no sense in terms of how the film works.
This is a spoilery discussion.
Very much so.
We will get to that in a moment for those of you who've seen it.
Anyway,
but you who are listening to this who have seen it know what we're talking about.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to give it. At the moment, I'm going to sit directly on the fence and give it a 5. I think. More I think about it.
It's visually stunning.
Absolutely, but then that was never a problem.
The soundtrack is great because it is, as we said, it's pretty much just lifted from Alien and Prometheus.
Yep.
Verbatim.
Yep.
I really like the Covenant as a ship. It looks very cool. A lot better than what we've seen in pictures and the trailers and everything like that.
The acting?
Acting for the most part was good. I think my problem with the acting is, as you say, there's too many people that we don't get a chance to really get to know them as they pop up outside of Daniels and Tennessee. The only reason we know Tennessee's got a hat.
Yeah.
And obviously token religious guy who no one trusts because he's a religious guy.
Yeah.
But still, it's outside of that. You don't really get a chance to know the characters. But the acting for there was no, I'm a geologist, I'm the one who maps, and I'm going to go get lost because I've forgotten how to read maps. And there was no, I'm terrified of my own shadow. Ooh, let's go and poke the little alien. There's none of that. So that was all good. It's like I said, it's small R. Ridley Scott here, not Rodney. And I stand by. It is the 3rd best film out of the Alien franchise. Yeah. Although, as mentioned, that's not a particularly high bar to cross.
I would watch this over Alien 3. I think
I'd watch this over Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien vs Predator, Alien vs Predator 2, and Prometheus.
But you can't watch this without Prometheus. That's the problem.
Yes, you're right. This film will not work without Prometheus. And Prometheus is still shit. This doesn't forgive Prometheus. This doesn't make anything of Prometheus better.
No, I never said it made it better.
No, but I'm just for the listeners. This film doesn't. It's not one of those situations where all of a sudden you watch it and you go, oh, it all makes it. No. Prometheus is still shit.
Yes.
You need to have seen Prometheus really to watch this. I mean, you can watch it without it, but you'll be going, who's that bloke? What's that about there? This makes no sense.
Why is that? Why do we care?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'll just echo it. I think the acting from the primary characters was good. Mm-hmm. Pretty much out of 15 characters that you see, I think about 4 get more than 2 lines.
Yeah.
If that. everyone else is instantly disposable. One even dies before you even get to know his name. Literally. And you only know his name after everyone goes, check Daniels, is Daniels alright? Oh, and yeah.
That might be a bit of a spoiler here.
No, it's just checking on someone who we know is the heroine, and then 5 minutes later they're checking on the bloke who's just disappeared.
All I'm saying is, there might be a mother interlude at this point where we get the Nostromo just chopping out that bit. Okay, well, alright, fine, okay. Right, okay, so overall, acting good, special effects for the most part. Sound design.
Sound design.
Because it's all the Nostromo sound effects and the things on the screen and all that, and the alarms that are just like, oh, it's so cool.
But we still have the Phantom Menace problem of, oh, look at these super duper high tech graphics and buttons and everything, and it's like, in 100 years' time they're going to go back to CRTs. What?
I will say, I do think that's a bit of a problem in that I don't feel like this film is set in 2104, was it not?
I don't know. I can't.
At the beginning it said 2104. I'm pretty sure that is. And Prometheus was 10 years prior to that.
Yeah.
There's the way things appear and stuff. It just doesn't feel like that much time. It feels like much more time has passed. It feels like there should have been a longer period there, almost, you know. But that's a minor quibble. In the list of quibbles of which we have.
Yes, we do have a list. I have a list.
And he's checking it twice, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to find out if it's naughty or nice.
Ah, yes.
Right, okay, well then, so overall, I'm a kind of meh. I wouldn't say don't see it, but I wouldn't also say see it. I can't heartily recommend it, but I think it's a competent movie. You won't go in...
There is far, far worse out there.
Yeah, I think it's very telling that the majority of reviews out there are kind of like, it's okay, and there's only IO9 kind of spitting its teeth out at.
I think the best way we can sum this up is it's not as good as Alien, but it's not as bad as Prometheus.
No.
That is literally the review. That's the one for the poster. It's not as good as Alien, but it's not as bad as Prometheus.
It's better than Alien 3.
Yes.
That's about it. Yeah, better than Alien 3, better than Alien Resurrection. That's about all you can take away from it.
Yeah. So, I think... worth seeing on the big screen, would you say?
For a lot of the shots of the ship, definitely, especially the opening shots of the ship, very good.
Yeah. We saw it 2D at the IMAX.
Yes.
And as always with the IMAX, it was awesome. So.
Yeah, and a lot of the landscape work is very good. But the problem is that once we get to about midway through the second act, the film just becomes very close and claustrophobic, which doesn't work on an IMAX screen, bizarrely enough.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, at that point, it's like, as you say, it's very kind of dark corridors and things like that. But tis the nature of the beast. Alien certainly doesn't work in big open fields.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, well, I think at that point then we're going to activate this auto-destruct.
Yes.
You're going to hear a lot of beeping sounds and everything like this. Us cursing mother.
Yes.
And then we're going to come back with the spoilery zone bit.
Yes.
So yes.
Do it.
See you in a second. I'm pressing the button. I'm pressing it.
Danger. The emergency destruct system is now activated. The ship will detonate in T-minus 10 minutes. The option to override automatic detonation expires in T-minus 5 minutes.
So, spoilery zone here. If you
Hello.
hadn't figured it out from the alert and sounds and sirens and Mother telling us that we have 60 seconds to deactivate the self-destruct or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever buttons we press.
Whatever sound effects we heard. We're going to spoil the shit out of Covenant at this point.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen it, I would actually say don't, because this film threw quite a few curveballs at us. We didn't see a lot of stuff coming. The trailers missold the story while making you think, I think the trailer was specifically targeted at people like us who think we know better and we go, oh, we can totally see where this film is going.
However, I do think I pretty much predicted all the deaths.
What? Of course you predicted the fucking death. It's an alien film. We're going to die.
No, but the way they died as well.
Oh, well, yeah.
We'll have to check that against the Minisode. Anyway, okay, so here we are in the spoiler zone, and let's get on with it. I mean,
shall we start with Sir not appearing in this film?
Yes, let's start with James Franco, the captain, who does what precisely?
He opens his eyes, looks left, looks right, and then gets incinerated.
inside his own canopy.
in only his sleeping pod. And I would like to point out at this point, NASA has known of the dangers of a oxygen-rich environment since Apollo 1 in the early 60s.
Yeah.
So I would like to imagine by 2104 they figured out it's best not to make these pods impossible to open and be oxygen-rich environments. You know? It tends to end a bit crispy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was
Along with not having pods dangling like you're washing off of a line.
yes.
That's also not a good thing, because you never know, the pods might fall off.
Yeah, I imagine that was, something of an oversight there, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
Straight out the gate, James Franco is in this film for all of 20 seconds and says
Nothing.
one word, one sentence in a playback video.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
it.
forgot about the playback video. Yeah, but he does give you the nail. That's the same nail that Roy Batty pushed through his hand, that will get used on David, pushed through his head, so that David can then turn around and do Roy Batty's line of "That's the spirit."
Yes.
It's like what? The whole thing was just for a fucking Blade Runner callback.
I will say, I still love Michael Fassbender's Peter O'Toole impression. It's glorious to watch.
Yes, yeah, it's great. I mean,
And he makes such a deliciously evil villain. It's the British accent.
I think that's the thing. The big curveball is that the actual villain isn't the alien as much as it's.
Well, okay, so here's a massive thing in terms of rewriting the alien lore. David genetically engineered the alien.
Yes, yes.
So this
no, just no.
No, I'm explaining what happened. You can give your thoughts in a second. I'm just telling the people.
Yeah.
So he has, because reasons, he has turned what do they call it in Prometheus? Is it the Archon or the Archdeacon? The Deacon.
The Deacon.
He has, through genetic experimentation and zoology, been genetically manipulating the virus. I'm doing finger quotes here.
Yeah.
The virus.
Yeah.
And is responsible for the word which Lee can't remember. We're going to call xenomorph for interest.
Yeah,
of
just
brevity.
call it xenomorph. It's fine.
The xenomorph. So David is responsible for the xenomorph.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, much like Lee, I have issues with this.
Issues. Fuck me, issues. It's just like I love the fact that you can control an alien by blowing up its nose.
I'm amazed it had noses.
I'm like amazed it even just stood there and watched him. I'm just, what the fuck? Anyway, no. So basically, they've turned around and just said the alien, the way the alien is literally through selective breeding by David.
The whole perfect organism, the perfect killing machine.
Oh, and then he had to say it as well, because we can't just let things just hang. No. We have to spell it out.
Yes, it all comes back to David has engineered them to be thusly.
Yes, because we have that. Because the thing that comes across from Prometheus, which is kind of the sort of subtext throughout the whole thing, is the whole you created me, I'm better than you. From an android's perspective, the android is created by man. The android decides that actually he's better than man, and then basically supersedes man by creating his own life form. Effectively, that's it. That's the god being superseded by its own creation. It's the AI disaster movie. It's Blade Runner. It's everything. And so, on that side of the fence, that's fine. But the fact is that you see that essentially David has exterminated the entire organic life of this entire planet purely as an experiment to make the perfect organism. But why?
I don't actually think he knows, to be honest.
And and just in case you don't know, because this. Rodney Scott comes out for a couple of times.
Yeah, there's a couple of. Rodney took a couple of.
Rodney took a
couple of goes over the script at some point.
And Rodney comes out and does things like just in case you don't know that David's mad, here's a warped reflection of him in a mirror, and we'll watch him talking Ozymandias while having one big distorted eye like the fucking Black Dog logo. It's just, what the fuck was that all about? It was like, and that felt like Ridley Scott doing his, this is all Prometheus. This is what I really wanted to do. Men and gods, where do we come from and what does it affect us with? But inside an alien universe. And if that was on its own, if it was off with Prometheus and not an alien film, that would have been fine. But the fact is that he's literally turned David into the father of all aliens. All aliens. Every alien movie from here on in starts here with Michael Fassbender and a couple of sicked up eggs.
Yeah.
And the sicked up eggs, really? Where from? How? Why?
I will refer you to Rule 1 of the Book of Black Dog. It's. I feel that was an unnecessary. It doesn't add anything to the story, in my opinion.
No, in fact, it detracts from everything.
It detracts from. I mean, you can have everything in there. The whole study, except for the bit. If you just take out the one line of "I've been experimenting and manipulating and cultivating my children," if you just take that bit out,
yeah,
and he's been studying it, that's fine.
Yeah,
but no, he has to have been
the
actively
progenitor of the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's just like.
But that's fine that's fine if you want to do that, but don't make it so fucking explicit. Don't put it in a film called Alien. Let us find out at the end. You know what I mean? It's like Iron Man. Watch Iron Man, know that you're watching an Iron Man film, and then right at the very end, know that you're watching actually an Avengers movie. Ta-da! Do that. Don't just lay it on with a fucking trowel and go, oh, by the way, just in case you didn't know, here's some pictures in the background with things with tails and long legs. And it's like, oh, for God's sake, oh, here's the one I made earlier sitting on a table. It's like, oh, come on, really? Because just...
Brief cameo from Elizabeth Shaw in that scene as well.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth Shaw's head, anyway.
Yeah, Elizabeth Shaw's head and Elizabeth Shaw's cross-sectioned head, and then you find her in a sort of Geiger-style artwork thing on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, did nobody smell that?
Apparently not. It's the formaldehyde, I'm guessing.
Formaldehyde from where?
Well, it looked like the sort of room that would stink of it.
Yeah, but where did you get it from?
Rule 1.
Rule 1. Okay, right, fine. Okay. Let's.
Well, you got again. We're at the point now we can't fully separate Ridley and Rodney. Rodney's going to show up on occasion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. This film has a lot of interesting ideas, and the Neomorph was quite an interesting idea. Mm-hmm. I thought the idea of a creature that was a little bit more than just a rage beast that you could almost communicate with, that was fine. But then they went and spoiled it by making a real alien, having it burst out of Billy Crudup, and have it do an actual, not, just in case the religious symbolism wasn't quite good enough for you, but it comes out of the only religious nutball in the entire crew and does a sign of a cruciform.
I almost
came out and did that.
I almost expected to come out, put on my little hat and go, hello my baby, hello my honey, hello my ragtime girl.
It's like, it's just like, what the fuck was that? I mean, really, that scene.
Yes, I'm with you on that. And
that scene.
It's again, the middle section, towards the end of the middle section especially, was a lot of stupid.
Yes.
And not... It's not the stupid in the sense of Prometheus, where it's people who were previously intelligent doing something stupid. This is script stupidity. This is this must happen, so reasons, and then we write this. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense.
And let's be honest, there's also now we've got the because we're going to talk about the fourth alien getting on Covenant.
Yes. So the one which, if you listen to our pre-spoiler section, Lee was like, where did that come from? That makes sense. So it was in Mr. Meltyface, wasn't it?
Yes.
Who had a face hugger on his face for all of 2 seconds?
Yes. So we found a premature ejaculation face hugger.
Yes.
2 jabs and a squirt. The face hugger. And then the facehugger lying on the side going, "Oh, I'm sorry, this never happened to me before."
Well, I could say, all I will say about that is it did do the whole kind of, when they die, it kind of curl up, whereas in the past, even when you cut them off, or what have you, they still kind of run around manically, and then...
Yeah, and it still had its cock hanging out as well, when it flopped up. And so you kind of had the hint of what was going on, but it was just like, I'm sorry. So this guy's not sitting there going, I've got the worst taste in my mouth you ever had.
Yeah.
And... really, and then you find him dead on the floor. But the problem is when you
in a massive pool of blood.
In a massive pool of blood. But the thing is, you find him in a massive pool of blood on the floor. But the shot that you get, the way he's shot, I actually thought it was the nurse. So when the nurse turns up having sex in the shower 5 minutes later, it's like, hold on, who, what,
No, I did see his face had the shit on it when he was lying there.
I didn't see that.
No, I did see that. You might have been distracted by the copious amounts of blood everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, and the other thing is obviously there's the let's get to the big elephant in the room.
There's only one.
No, the biggest one.
Okay.
Were you convinced that David or Walter was really Walter once they were on the Covenant?
No. It's trying to do a double bluff. It's trying to go,
Yeah.
Is it? Isn't it? Is it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
And to be fair, I will give them this much as they're due. By the time we got to the I was convinced it was David until they got rid of it, and then they were put him to sleep. And it was literally only as she was about to go to sleep and he says about the line. It's only then I went and go, oh, so... And I'll give it its due, because they waited that long before they did the reveal, it was just like, okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I mean, I wasn't convinced, and it was only the only bit that gave me pause was once the alien got literally 2 tow trucks in the face.
Tow trucks, those were those bloody big engineering mountain truck, those sorts of massive things. No, and I'm with you. It was only then that
It's only when he breathed a sigh of relief and it got blown out the airlock that I thought, oh, right, okay, we're sorted.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, now we understand. But then it suddenly goes,
Well, no, you see, the thing with me was that his scars weren't healing.
Of course.
Because Walter can automatically heal, we saw.
So where's Walter?
Walter's dead, apparently.
How's he dead, though?
Chopped his head off.
See, because that's the problem with that whole second act.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff where the script just kind of assumes that everyone in the film is along with the audience.
Yeah.
Because like Daniels goes along and she sees the she sees the monster and she goes, don't let it get blood on you because the blood will leak through the hull. Yeah. And it's like, how do you actually know that?
It's an excellent point. Yeah, she wouldn't know that.
She wouldn't have known that because she never saw any of it.
No.
And the second thing is with the whole thing with
obviously she's seen an alien film before.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, and then and there's little things like that. So there was lots of moments where they suddenly go, "Oh right, just we all know this," and the script does that. Well, we all know this. We know that what's happened to David? What's happened to Walter? Oh well, don't worry about that. They're having a fight. Really? Well, how do you know that? Because
I will say this as well. At the very beginning, as nice as the little sequence was with Guy Pearce not in his anti-aging makeup and everything like this, that would have been better served as one of these prelude things they released online. Why not include either the crew going into hypersleep bit from the web one, or better still, the one from Prometheus linking up to it, and show the whole, him arriving and the Ozymandias King of Kings moment. That would have been much better served at the beginning, because we kind of already know that he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is also, they kept referring to Shaw's character over and over and over again, and it's like, actually, who cares? Well, she was gone the first time she was gone, and it was like, okay, fine, she's gone. David's here, fine. And it kind of is a throwaway moment. And you're like, right, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then after that, we have to have another moment where we see a grave. And let's be honest, why would, if you've got the body out in the backdrop, why would you create an elaborately done grave for a scene to stand beside it?
It was. I mean, he definitely comes across as a kind of crazy serial killer type. You know, I was expecting pictures of eyes cut out at one point.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's lots of stuff where David's doing stuff purely to distract the audience. He's not doing it because he should have done it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even crazy serial killer stuff. It's literally like he has to convince Walter that. Yeah, he has to convince Walter that Shaw meant a lot to him.
I did expect when he was demonstrating the recorder to him that he was just going to get that stuff through his face.
Yeah.
Also, I was quite shocked when Assassin's Creed bled into.
I was thinking exactly that.
I was literally going to turn to you and I go, wait, what? When did we? Because he's literally just wearing his cloak from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he must have just walked between sets. But again, I mean, let's go through the characters. I mean,
You can remember them all?
no, that's my point. And it's like Daniels, obviously,
Yes.
and she is both the strength of the film, but also the weakness, because she has no fear of that monster at all. There is no sense at any point that she is actually scared of it.
No, not really, no.
She goes. There's one point where it's hanging off the bottom of the cargo lifter, and she literally walks straight out onto the top of the cargo lifter, and the cargo lifter's all flopping about, and she's like, "Yeah, fine, whatever. I'm gonna fucking take this thing on." It's like, what? Really?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have that same sense that you had with Ripley in Alien, where she's dealing with it, but she's cacking her pants while she's doing it.
Because you're dealing with something that's a killing machine,
Yeah.
and so. That she was both the film's sort of strong suit, but also the weakness, because she was the one sort of that was supposed to be us. And so she was basically giving us no fear, and with no fear, we don't have any fear.
No. It's like you said, it's relying a lot on the audience having seen Alien films and Nova tropes and stuff like that already in there.
And the same goes for things like when the captain was it Billy Crudup, he goes off and gets a facehugger in the face. It's like all the way through it, he's been super cautious. He's been super cautious,
Jumping at his own shadow,
demanding that the ship's computer be rebooted. Just because it didn't spot a massive star explosion right next door. And all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden he sees David blowing up the nose of a neomorph, Barbara Woodhouse style, which is both the most fascinating bit and also the most ridiculous bit.
Well, it was up there with the hybrid from Resurrection, wasn't it?
Oh, no! It was better than that. I give it better than that.
Yeah, but it's. Acknowledge and all those things are. There's a lot of stupid. It's that whole middle. It's basically when they get on the planet until when you get off on it.
Yeah.
A lot of that is. I mean, for one thing, an unknown planet. You're landing there. Why aren't you walking around in the fucking suits?
Yeah.
God's sakes, that's day one, rookie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then again, someone starts feeling a bit ill. You don't instantly then drop everything and say, okay, some sort of contaminant or something's gotten to him. Quarantine. Also, I felt that the shuttle pilot who's Tennessee's wife. Can't remember. Ferris.
Because we only know that because he keeps saying it over and over again.
She just kind of flipped from quite a strong kind of, the pilot. She can deal with all that to the, oh my god, I'm terrified. It was just too quick. It was a switch, and it just didn't feel organic in that sense.
No.
It's just like, I have to be afraid now. So I'm going to be so afraid now.
Yeah.
Also, just tip to all you Starship designers out there, I cannot overemphasize this enough. The danger of oxygen canisters next to weaponry. It's just, it's call me overly cautious if you will. I just feel that this is inviting disaster, as evidenced.
Yeah, and can I just say, on behalf of anyone who's got a weapon hunting a monster, if the monster's only way of getting through a door is through a tiny, tiny hole, which is basically a big, thick piece of glass, and it can't get through it very easily, don't bother throwing whatever piece of machinery it's in out of the door. Don't bother running off and... 3 times the different aliens, neomorphs, whatever you want to call them, got trapped in a place and
Yeah.
climbed out through a window.
Yes.
And the windows were so tiny that it took like minutes for this thing to go through. Right, you've got a shotgun, put the shotgun against the window, let it smash on through and shoot the fucker.
Yeah, it's what Higgs does, you know? They're coming through the door sort of thing.
Yeah.
Boot
Bang.
above it, bang.
Yeah.
Get a bit of shit on you, but still.
And yet, every time, they wait for it to climb out through the door. I mean,
Also, I will just say again about the final plan.
Yeah.
You know, they get it into the loading bay, what have you.
yeah.
And then she's standing there and bangs her rifle, and the thing jumps. And the only reason it doesn't kill her there and then is it gets his leg tangled in the railing.
Yeah.
It's like... So what was your plan if it didn't do that?
Yeah, you were fucked. I don't actually quite understand why, if they were leading the alien through all these corridors, step by step, why, and they get to the airlock, they actually get to an airlock.
Well, yes, it's just one, and open this one, and ta-da!
Yeah, exactly. Just pull.
Yep.
Done. Job done. And that's the problem with this film. It's just there's too many little niggles and silliness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so desperate to get back to being an alien movie.
And it does the best job of that since Aliens, but
Yeah, but it isn't Aliens
No, it's
style
not.
alien.
No, it's not.
It is, because it's just too much scuttly and runny, and it's not terrifying. It's just another thing in the cargo hold.
if all honesty, this film would have been better served if the alien was effectively not in it. If this was just a story about David
Yeah.
being the monster,
Yeah.
that would have been a much better film. And I don't see any reason why you couldn't have done that. And again, it would have subverted everyone's expectations.
Yeah.
You'd have been like, did not see that
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, we got rid of those two neomorphs at the beginning.
Yeah. And then it was just David
Yeah.
doing his thing, which I think would have worked perfectly well. The alien really is surplus to requirements in this film.
It is. It doesn't need to be there.
It only doesn't need to be there. It's just not even particularly served well when it is in there.
No.
It's just
A CG lump.
it's apparently the Covenant can track it
Yeah.
easily enough, which the Nostromo can't easily do. You know,
No.
they've got a jury of exchange, but fine. And again, the corridors. You know, it doesn't even try to get through any of the things. It's just like it just goes where it's led to. So.
Yeah, it goes wherever the doors open. It takes the path of least resistance. And, once again, we get another stupid attempt to give the POV of the alien.
Yeah, they really need to stop doing that.
Just stop
And apparently
doing
there's
that.
an entire VR experience of it, which I will not be taking
No,
part in.
I wouldn't bother.
I did like the. I
Go
did think it was funny when the alien thought it was going to get in some of the action on the shower, though.
Ah.
you got to see, you got them doing the shower sort of thing, and all of a sudden you see the alien tail come over in the middle and just went round.
Yeah.
Bow, bow, bow.
Brown chicken, brown cow. But again, it's like, that whole scene was just like absolutely like, how are we going to get rid of two characters really quickly? It didn't have any point. It was, and the thing was, the two characters literally were just two faces on either side of a workstation
I was
for
con- I
like
was con-
90% of the film.
I was convinced one of them was Kirsten Stewart for the longest time.
I thought it was. I thought the lady was that one who's in Merlin,
Yeah.
who plays what's her face, the one who gets torn up in Jurassic World, gets lifted up and thrown around in a.
I've got no idea. The only one I know from Jurassic Park is the guy trying to save his margarita.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah. Overall, I mean that's the problem. It rushes stuff, and so therefore isn't scary. I don't think I ever felt scared. Revulsed.
There was no real fear. Any
No.
jump scares are telegraphed well in advance.
Yep.
Honestly, the scariest bit of this film is that very last shot when she's in the cryopod
Yeah.
and realises it's David.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. To which, yeah, I have to, and then we get the reveal that David's got some
Embryos.
embryos in him. That was just why.
Well, old Rodney's got to set up for the next one.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. With a reveal like that, I just want to just go, oh, fuck off. Because my thought was...
I don't even think you need that. You could have ended it with him just walking into that cryo bay with the 2,000 colonists.
Yeah.
And left it at that.
Well, he also had all those, what was it, the jelly bean dispensers from the inside of the cylinders.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, okay, fine. If he coughs up one of them, and he's got the black goo everywhere, then off you go.
Also, why does he have command codes which open doors on the Covenant?
Exactly. How does he know Walter's command codes?
Shut up, that's why.
And that's the problem. This is I tell you what, this feels like. This feels like a really high production Alien fan film. The beginning and the end do. It's too rushed.
I feel that the first and the third acts are reasonably good. The first act's very good. Middle act is poor. Third act is okay. It's not brilliant, but it's okay.
But go on.
My train of thought has derailed at the station.
Sorry.
The bodies are everywhere. We're going live to the scene now. What are you saying? Well, I got to tell you, it's horrible here. There were bodies everywhere. Train of thought, it derailed coming into the platform.
Sorry. Well, I was going to say, for all of the second act's complete lack of propulsion, that's where the most interesting stuff actually lies, between David and
Walter.
And that I could have watched the whole film of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. When I say this middle act is
no.
you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying, because what happens is, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the film and you're going for spoilers,
what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly, what the fuck
Seriously?
are you doing?
The fuck are you playing at?
No, but I mean, let's explain it. I mean, they end up being rescued by David. Who then takes them to his necropolis, for want of a better word, because like everyone is just dead.
Yes.
And he goes in there and he says everyone's perfectly safe, and then next thing you know, it's like, okay, fine, everyone's dead, and now what we're going to do? Well, we're all going to sit around and be killed off one by one by various beasties and monsters. Why? I don't know. Just because. Meanwhile, David and Walter will have conversations about stuff.
Yes. About
the nature of existence.
the nature of existence. Creation and
existence is pain, Jerry.
It's pain.
But
I'm a stickler, Jerry.
But also, that again is a sequence where basically Billy Crudup's character sees David literally, horse whispering.
He's communing with this alien thing, the Neomorph, and it's like, why he didn't instantly fill him full of lead?
Yeah, and he goes, "What the hell's going on?" And he goes, "Oh yes, let me show you." And it's just like, Billy Crudup's not like, "Hang on, one of my crew is over here missing a head, and over here is a big fucking 8-foot tall white thing with like teeth."
Which you just yelled at me for killing.
Yeah, which you just yelled at me for killing. I'm going to follow you because that's trustworthy. Brilliant.
Well, he speaks with such a lovely British accent.
Yes,
you know he's trustworthy then.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm the only Robin Hood with a real British accent. Yeah, I mean, it's just. And from that point on, from that moment that Billy Crudup literally takes leave of his senses and just goes, okay, I'm going to follow the clearly evil android who's whistling at monsters that have bit my crew member's head off. It's like, that's it. This story has gone off the rails. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Give me a call back when something interesting happens.
Yeah.
And then you get the fight with Walter. But the thing is, the geography of that whole scene makes no sense, because you go... If everyone goes walking down, did nobody notice the corpse of Elizabeth on that table?
If I could refer you to Rule 1.
Oh, God. Fuck Rule 1. I want answers, damn it.
Yeah.
Because she's literally splayed out across that table.
She's splayed out, she's been completely vivisected. There's basically, there's a head.
Though he's put the head back together according to the sketches that he's done.
But it's like, well... I'm pretty sure after 10 years of however long it is, she'd be pretty...
Whiffy.
Crusty.
Juicy.
No, they're not juicy after that long.
It's just... And what happened to her? Did he kill her?
Yeah, he did exactly what he's going to do to Daniels. Dun.
Yeah, exactly. And what is that precisely?
I don't know. Have to wait for the next one.
I just...
Pro-Covenant?
Oh,
Cavitheus.
Okay, so here's a question for you now. Now, knowing what we know now, which is like the Covenant is about to become... oh, no.
What?
No.
What?
I just suddenly had a thought. Well...
Could get you a lot of trouble thinking Turkish. I shouldn't do so much of it.
I was just wondering whether or not if you bent the Covenant in half into a croissant shape, whether or not it looks a bit like...
No, it definitely is not. Right.
No. Because it's now a plague ship.
It is now a plague ship. So I tell you what, is there anything else we really want to talk about the film? Or we kind of think we've touched on all we want to do there?
Well, apart from the fact there's still one neomorph floating about.
Yes, there is still one, but it's on the planet, and there's maybe Walter's there or not, but who knows?
Okay. My final thoughts are there are too many characters who die who you don't care about, especially the bit in the Jurassic Park 2 raptor attack.
Yes, in the fields, and yeah.
Yeah, and we know that alien neomorphs can be scared off using a bright flare.
Yes.
So that's all you need is a really bright torch.
Bright lights or torches or flares and what have you, and you're fine.
Yeah,
only if Chris Pratt is not available.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question for you is, speculation time.
Yep.
Where are we going from here?
Well, he's basically going to...
Well, okay, so let's qualify this. Right, we know where we are at the minute, and we know at some point a engineer ship with an engineer needs to end up with its cargo bay full of David's eggs.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to connect them without stretching so far that I basically dislocate all of my bones.
In the immortal words of Rodney Scott, hold my beer.
Exactly. I honestly don't know. I almost want it to go nowhere because every step. I mean, this film has definitely done it. This film has literally Darth Vadered the alien.
Wait, you mean
No.
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 Yes,
it has.
No. The reason why no is unlike Revenge of the Sith. Everything leading up until this point had not been great. It's not like
Really?
Resurrection, AVP, AVP2.
Okay. Phantom Menace, Attack of the
Darth
Clones.
Vader's not in those.
Yes, he is.
No, Anakin Skywalker's in those. Darth Vader
Don't
was
split
not.
hairs.
I'm not splitting hairs. He was
The original
not.
Alien wasn't in these films either.
No. My point is, Darth Vader showed up in Revenge of the Sith, and the first lines we'd heard from James Earl Jones as Darth Vader in nigh on 20 years was, "No."
Okay.
I get your point you're making. I'm just saying you're making the wrong simile.
Okay then. The first time we actually see a proper facehugger, and we see a proper chest burster. The chest burster turns up, does the cruciform at David.
It didn't see what again. It's the chest burster. It looked just like a mini alien. It didn't look like a chest burster.
Exactly.
And we did technically see face huggers in AVP, unfortunately.
I'm just saying. At this point, the shit's just gone off the rails. It's going to be a connection that I don't care about. I mean, the fact is, you've got teeny tiny little facehuggers in teeny tiny little eggs.
Teeny tiny facehuggers. Teeny tiny.
I mean, really. I mean, let's put it this way: if someone doesn't get on eBay with a resin gun and figure that shit out in like 5 minutes flat, I don't think anyone. Yeah, and then someone chokes on them. I mean, it's just.
At least he stopped at 2. I thought we were going to end on a magic trip where we just keep, doing a whole gun.
Oh, what you mean, like Airplane?
Yeah,
Leslie
exactly.
Nielsen constantly taking eggs out of it. But I don't know. Speculation. I mean, what, the Covenant reaches another planet, Daniels wakes up, either she's been face hugged, or in which case she's dead, and same goes for Tennessee, or she becomes the hero to take down David. But I don't think we're ever going to hear from Daniel or Tennessee again. I'm basically just trying to think, how do you get a derelict, a dreadnought, whatever you want to call the thing? How does David get his hands on another one of those? Because he's going to have to, presumably. that's the question, isn't it? I mean, he's wiped out the planet of engineers.
A planet of engineers.
Okay, so he finds another planet of engineers. I mean, there's 100 ways you can make it up. There's nothing really specific said.
Yeah.
But my problem really is if he's got endless amounts of human fuel to improve his product.
3,400 odd people.
Yeah.
So that's 2,000 colonists, 1,400 embryos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of aliens.
Yeah.
Potentially. Yeah.
I just, and the problem is, as much as I think this film was okay, I don't think I cared to see any more. I really don't. I think if I see another one, all it's going to do is just going to explain it further. And if it doesn't Darth Vader it this time, it fucking will next time.
I mean, again, it comes back to, it was less egregious than Prometheus was in that it's not trying to explain what the engineers are, which for me was the biggest sin there. It was just like this great, and this is my biggest concern with Blade Runner as well. Although I have faith in Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
There's questions I don't want answers to. I didn't want answers to the engineer question. I wanted to speculate.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. And yeah, Prometheus took away my speculation about the engineers. It just ruined them to giant bald giants who are dicks.
Yeah.
Because of reasons. So for me, whatever they do next, I don't have any kind of long-standing speculation questions that I feel it can ruin.
Really?
So, not like that. Not like the origins of the engineers was for me, sort of thing.
Well, you got the origins of the aliens have just been essentially completely ruined.
I never particularly cared about. For me, it was the interest was more in the engineer. The alien itself was either a. I never really cared about where the alien came from, because it was the terror. It was this thing. For me, I was much more interested in what was this giant alien that was just sitting there. It was just so otherworldly and everything like this. That's what interested me. And then when we did Prometheus, the answer I got was,
it's a suit.
It was just shit. It was just it was so unsatisfying.
Yeah.
But I never sat going, oh, I wonder where the alien came. I just never did for whatever reason. So that wasn't that. But my point that I'm trying to make is, whatever they do next, there's not one of those big questions there for them to ruin it. So I'm kind of curious to see where he will go next. But one of the rumours we've heard is he's planning on basically doing his own sequel to Alien, so effectively supplanting Aliens. So
but then the other rumour is that he's going to take it right up to the moment where the Nostromo comes in system and here's the distress beacon.
Yeah.
And it's like, either way, that's too far. That's taking it too far. And in his own words, he thought the alien was done, played out, and literally turn me over. I'm done. It's got I've got an
Stick
orange
a fork
moment.
at me, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think he's proved his point. There is nothing more you can do with that monster.
You can explore the world, and please do. I mean, again, like I said, if you took the alien out of this film and it's just about David being a fucking psycho,
Yeah.
that's an interesting film in of itself, and I would watch that film.
Yeah.
I would watch. I mean, again, you're kind of crossing over into more of a Blade Runner-y sort of world, but yeah, I would absolutely watch that film. But he either doesn't have confidence in himself or in.
Or the writers,
or in the audience to do that. So yeah. So yeah. Anyway, those are my points. I still think that I don't think it's a bad film. I was entertained by it. Like I said, it went in places I didn't expect it to. There was instances where I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. That's cool. So yeah, I still stand by my 7 out of 10 is where I kind of peg it at.
The more I think about it, the more I think it's a 5. I feel neither anger towards it nor elation at having seen it. I feel like I've seen a alien film. And it's it's not.
Do you still peg it as above Alien 3? Or?
Yeah, definitely above Alien 3. But it's got all the problems of Alien 3. The monster isn't a monster that is. They have hints of intelligence, but that's the neomorph.
Yeah.
Oh, except for the fucking jazz hands chestburster.
Hello,
which
my
was-
darling. Hello, my
That
baby.
was just the
Hello,
worst.
my
That was the worst scene. That was a point where it's like, okay, Ridley, you've fucking lost me, mate. You've got to pull something out the bag now because you've lost me. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I never see this film again, it wouldn't bother me. If I do, it's fine. If nothing else, it makes me kind of slightly reevaluate Prometheus because it does make David more explicitly a psychopath.
Oh yeah, it definitely says that David wasn't
Just malfunctioning.
No,
or
David is a
dick.
and it all comes down to because bloody guy, what's his name? Guy Ritchie couldn't be bothered to pour his own tea.
Yeah. Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce, there you go. Yeah,
That's it.
Guy Pearce couldn't be bothered to pour his own tea.
Yeah.
The cock.
Yeah. If you could just say, yeah. And that was the other thing. Guy Pearce's reactions to all the father stuff that took me straight back to Prometheus. And it's like, if you're going to be a dick, then you're going to reap the whirlwind, my friend. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's kind of the key. You know, if it's a kind planet, it will be the life forms on it will be kind.
No.
I really wish I could make that connection, but it's just not. It's just a meh film. It's a film that suddenly remembers it's an alien film about 3/4 of the way through, and
So-
has all the characters being stupid from here on in.
Oh, I don't think they were as bad as Prometheus. I still don't think that the characters were as stupid as Prometheus, but yeah. Oh well, I say it was ambitious, but rubbish.
Yeah, I'd just say it was just a little bit shit, but not really that bad to really engender any kind of major rage in me. I came away from it thinking I've kind of watched something that's passed some time, really.
So there you go. Our final black space dog.
Yeah,
jury.
space dog.
Our space dog thoughts are it's alright.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, it's alright.
I mean, I know people have been really down on it, and other people have been really up on it, but I can't muster any enthusiasm for it whatsoever. There was no point where I felt engaged, and there was no point where I felt emotionally invested in it. I was curious. I just watched it curiously. It's a bit like when you got friends who like sports and they're watching sports on telly and they're getting really upset and angry about stuff that's on telly, and then every now and again you'll look over and you'll see, oh, it's gone up by 1 point. Oh, interesting. Don't care about it, but interesting. And then suddenly someone gets like studs in the face and it's like there's arguments and fights on the pitch and you go, oh, now I'm kind of engaged in kind of what's going on. And then a ref puts up a yellow card and everyone carries on as if nothing's changed. Because that's another thing. Shit happens in this and everyone kind of gets over it really quickly.
They really do, yeah. It's like
The captain's dead. Okay. My boyfriend's dead. Okay. 5 minutes later. My wife's died in horrible explosion. I understand, he says, rubbing his chin.
I really think that you have to question the logic of putting couples like that on a crew. It's like, you're going to be compromised. Like, again, my wife's down there. I'm going to take the ship of 2,000 colonists into danger.
Yeah. Tough shit. No, you're not.
Ah, well.
Yeah. It just... Also, that whole scene, that whole sequence, in fact, just felt like, oh, everyone would like to have on the script Captain. Because everyone gets to play Captain at least once in this
Pretty
film.
much, yeah. Even the alien at the end.
Yeah, the aliens are sitting there with a hat on.
Yeah.
May not have happened.
Yes, entirely possible it may not have done.
Yeah.
So shall we call it there?
I think we call it a day there. It's just an above average monster movie with something that looks vaguely like an alien in it, and some interesting hangover threads from Prometheus.
I would say it's a film that had a huge... Okay, so it's a lot better than Prometheus. It overcome the stigma of being a sequel to Prometheus. It had potential to be something a lot better, but just didn't run with it. It just kind of fell back into its safe zone. So
Yeah.
to ruin that sports metaphor further. So yes, it could have been something great. As it was something. And if I could quote from Immortan Joe here, mediocre.
Mediocre, yes.
Yeah, there you go. There's our thoughts. It's mediocre.
Mediocre, yeah. Okay, well, that's it. So, have you seen it? What do you think about it? Leave your comments and reviews and thoughts and everything on the Space Doc Facebook page, which is Space Doc Jury. You can go facebook.com/group/Space Doc Jury, or tell us on Twitter, which is @Space Doc Jury, or even leave a comment underneath this particular podcast on our website, which is @spacedocjury.com.
They can do that?
They can do that.
What a world we live in.
What a world.
Yeah.
What a world.
You want to do your black... Because this is on the Black Dog feed as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in your feed, Darren.
Yeah. Also, if you want to leave any reviews, go to the Black Dog Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/the Black Dog Podcast. Also, don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter, which is @Black Dog Podcast. And finally, you can, of course, send in feedback for any films that we're doing by just sending into feedback @Black Dog Podcast. I think I've said Black Dog Podcast quite enough. So there you go. So thank you very much for listening. I'm sure I'll address it again in the actual cast itself, which will be coming out on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yours, Space Doc will be next Sunday.
Yeah, the Space Dog will be next Sunday, but Black Dog will be on Tuesday.
Unless it's not.
Yes, it will be. Okay, we're really confused now. But anyway, thank you very much for listening, and take care, and we'll speak to you all soon. Till then, tatty bye.
I should go.